Hey there, welcome back to my channel, and let's get right into it. Let's discuss why you should be looking at the United States Coast Guard Academy if you are a potential member of the class of 2030. Now, it's no secret that everybody looks at the big three service academies, West Point, Annapolis, and Air Force Academy. The lesser known academies, I'll use quote unquote lesser known academies, the Coast Guard Academy and the Merchant Marine Academy really don't get as much attention as the big three. It's statistically proven that most people apply to the big three, lesser people apply to the Coast Guard Academy, and even lesser people apply to the Merchant Marine Academy. But today, let's talk about the Coast Guard Academy and why, if you're potentially a member of the class of 2030, you should be really looking at the Coast Guard Academy. This past week, the Coast Guard Academy graduated the class of 2025. Kristi Noem, the Secretary of Homeland Security, gave the commencement speech, and she outlined the future of the Coast Guard. And the future of the Coast Guard looks very different than what the Coast Guard is right now. She outlined a program called Force Design 2028. It has the full support of the President of the United States. And I guess all it really needs right now is funding, and they're working hard to get funding for it.
A top priority of that goal is transforming the United States Coast Guard. In fact, I remember having many conversations with President Trump, and one of them most recently about the Coast Guard. And he said to me, "Kristi, as we sat in the Oval Office, what do they need?" And I said, "Sir, they need everything. They've been neglected for too long. They need cutters. They need airframe. They need infrastructure that supports that. They need training and equipment. They need more coasties out there serving alongside of them, and sir, they are the point of the spear in our national defense. They are the key elite group that will lead our other military branches into the future and secure our country, not just here on our coastlines, participating with our military, but they will lead across the world in how they conduct missions with our Navy, our Army, our defense forces, everywhere that they go." And he said, "Kristi, make sure we get them what they need. Get them the future that they need." Now, I want to share with you today what part of President Trump's vision is for the future of this force. With your help, President Trump and I are going to make America's Coast Guard the strongest, the most capable, the also most effective military service in the entire government. I've traveled across the United States, and I've seen the Coast Guard at work. They've been protecting our country from Alaska to Miami, New York, San Diego. I've met with many Coast Guard men and women, and I've heard from them about your heritage, your dedication, your patriotism, and all of your devotion to duty. I've also gained an understanding of what you need, and I've heard it from people on the front lines, people that are doing the work every single day to provide security. Those needs represent the biggest Coast Guard readiness crisis that we have seen since World War II. You were 10% short of your enlisted workforce. Ships we had sailing with 75% of their crew. Many of these ships are old, they're outdated, they have obsolete technology. A new chapter for America's Coast Guard, one like we have never seen before, starts right now. Under my confirmation, I directed the service to begin the largest transformation since the modern formation of the service was established in 1915. We call it Force Design 2028. Force Design 2028 is our roadmap to revolutionize the Coast Guard. And today we're going to begin implementing that bold blueprint. Force Design 2028 focuses on 4 different campaigns: on people, organization, acquisition, contracting, and technology. We're going to build a more agile, capable, and responsive fighting force. To do this, we will improve training systems. We'll boost access to medical care, modernize both the Coast Guard Reserve and the civilian management system. We will reorganize the service, and we're going to be more effective and capable in ensuring that the Coast Guard will always be ready to meet the challenges of the 21st century. As part of this campaign, the service will reduce the number of its admirals by 25% so that we can return the decision-making to the front line, where it belongs. We will develop a high-velocity acquisition and contracting system. This new system will rapidly deliver equipment and resources to the services that needs it to fulfill its commitment to the American people. We'll accelerate the adoption of secure, cutting-edge technologies that are fit for the challenges of our future. And these changes will define the Coast Guard that you will lead. You're coming into the Coast Guard at a better time in history than it's ever seen before.
So why am I talking about the Coast Guard Academy, and why I'm saying that you should look at the Coast Guard Academy and potentially become a member of the class of 2030? The reason is, if all of these programs go through for Force Design 2028, and we'll discuss the programs in a second, you as an ensign graduate from the Coast Guard Academy in 2030 will be on the ground floor of all these new programs, and you could possibly have a very exciting career in the new Coast Guard. So let's just touch on some of the high points for Force Design 2028. The one that caught my eye, and the one why I think it's important for you guys, potentially class of 2030, is that there will be an effort to decrease the number of senior management, i.e. admirals. They want to cut the number of admirals in the Coast Guard. They want to eliminate something like 20% of the admirals in the Coast Guard. And they want to push down the decision making down to those who are not flag rank, but those below, the captains, the commanders, lieutenant commanders, and eventually the lieutenants. So you will be an ensign if you graduate from the Coast Guard Academy. So you will be right on the ground floor of this, and you will have more responsibility than the ensigns have now graduating. So as you will progress through your career, you will assume a lot more authority than a lieutenant or a lieutenant commander has now. So for career-wise, I think that's a great potential for you to really do a lot of different things. The second thing that caught my eye is the effort to increase the number of Coast Guard men by 15,000. That's right, 15,000 more Coast Guard men and women to serve the United States Coast Guard. So why is this important to a new officer who would be graduating in 2030 from the Coast Guard Academy? Well, it gives you an opportunity to lead people. The more people out there, the more opportunity you have for leadership. Right now the Coast Guard is kind of stretched thin. It's stretched thin in the officers' rank. It's stretched thin in the enlisted rank. But with a big bump in the number of people, you will have an opportunity to really use those leadership skills that you use at the academy. You will be on the ground floor of the new Coast Guard with all the new members who are coming in. And the last thing that really caught my eye, and something that I'm sure that you high school juniors, rising seniors are really interested in, is the Coast Guard's effort to increase the use of modern technology. So not picking on the Coast Guard right now has very old ships, very old aircraft, very old systems. It lags behind the other services in that it doesn't get the funding. With this Force Design 2028, they will strive to have the best, the latest, the greatest technology in ships, aircrafts, computer systems, detection systems, everything. They want to become a cutting-edge force in technology. And for somebody graduating from the Coast Guard Academy in 2030, I don't know what technology is going to look like 4 years from now. Things change so quick, but you will have a chance, once again, to be on the ground floor, a plank owner of a new technology-driven Coast Guard with all the latest and greatest bells and whistles, equal to the United States Navy and the United States Air Force. So just for those three things, I think you really should take a serious look at the United States Coast Guard. I think you should take a serious look at the Force Design 2028 plan. Go below to the YouTube link for the 2025 graduating class from the Coast Guard Academy. And there you can see the complete commencement ceremony. If you don't want to watch the 2.5, 3 hour ceremony, you don't have to. Just fast forward till you see Kristi Noem, watch her speech, and you'll get a really good overview of what this video is about and what her plans are for the future. So in conclusion, I hope you get what you want. I hope you seriously look at all 5 service academies. But with this new technology, new force readiness, new command structure and addition of new people for the Coast Guard, I think that the Coast Guard Academy really deserves a close look by you. So, good luck, and thank you for watching. Bye now.